we go. Sure.
We're live.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that. All right. It says we're live. So welcome everybody to today's session of Be on the Cloud. And it is Friday. If you're in Canada, it is a long weekend. If you are in the States, you have to wait another week. So I'm sorry for a long weekend. So I shared I guess a question out today. So we'll just kind of answer this question as we go around to introduce ourselves, just to lighten it up for Friday. What is a song that whenever you hear, your body just kind of starts to dance to? So I will start. Tanya Hiltz, Cloud Bookkeeping Services, Tanya's Bookkeepers Bootcamp. And lately it is All About the Bass by Megan Trainor. My shoulders, my butt dances, you know, the little chair ends up moving around, the chair gets into the action and everything. So, all right, Jessica, you were here next.
Oh, Brian, I wasn't ready. I was trying to rack my brain. I am sure there's songs that make me dance when they come on because I am Puerto Rican and we tend to, you know, have dancing our movement. Mm-hmm. So people say that I dance while I walk. So it doesn't take much to get me to move. And I guess that's why I cannot pinpoint a song, because I think that if it has a melody, I am moving to it.
Awesome. Okay, sorry, I was just trying to get on the other side. I had to turn the volume down because otherwise you would have heard you talk right behind. So anyway, okay, Deb, you were next.
Hi, I'm Deb Fletcher. I'm located in Colorado and I'm e-commerce specialist and handling sales tax, lots of sales tax this week. Oh, good grief. Anyway, I'm trying to think of a song and I just can't think of anything that's got a fast moving beat. You bet. I'll be dancing in the car, wherever, out with the chickens. They think I'm crazy, you know, and it's a good thing I'm way, way, way off the road because none of my neighbors could see me dancing. So yeah. And of course you got to do it in the shower too, which can be a hazard, but
yes, it can be. It can be. I guess it depends on, you know, what song you're singing, right? If you're, I tend to sing in the shower. The acoustics are better, and I don't make the whole rest of the neighborhood dogs howl quite as much when I sing in the shower.
Yes.
Only my husband will start howling. Oh. Yeah. Anyway. I don't know. Jennifer, I think you were next.
I'm Jennifer Solon, Time Advantage Academy. I don't really have any one song I dance to. My playlist is country, 90s country and 80s pop, so really anything from there. That's pretty much about it.
Well, it's nice broad music.
Although, and I do agree with you. Megan Trainor's All About the Bass is definitely one of them. I mean, she's not from the 80s or 90s, but yeah, that's one of my favorites too.
I'm usually 80s. I'm all about the 80s usually. So, but yeah, so I get it. I get it. All right, Kathy, you're next.
So I'm Kathy Badry, CSB Creative Business Solutions in Edmonton, Alberta. And I'm crazy about Florida-Georgia line. So love the country. Find that their stuff's really nice to dance to.
Awesome. Awesome. Do you wear the cowboy boots too?
No, I might be a country girl, but I did not get into the cowboy boot part. That was left to my brothers. But I do know how to ride.
There you go. Well, that's right, because you're Alberta, born and raised out there, aren't you?
Yep, I was born and raised on a farm, dairy farm.
Awesome. All right. So, I don't know. What's anybody want to talk about today?
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
I'm so glad it's Friday.
You know what? I'm very glad it's Friday too. You're not going to hear me complain this weekend. Yeah, I actually have a brunch meeting tomorrow with Richard Ropa Roberts. I don't know if any of you out there know him or know his name. We've been trying to get to connect and get together for ages. And then we finally have just been chatting this week. And it's like, you know what? He says, I would love to have a brunch meeting. I said, great, I'm all for that. So we're having a brunch meeting tomorrow. So yeah, which is going to be exciting. Oh, and we've got people here. Sorry, Carol, hang on.
Carol can't get in.
Yeah, don't go away, Carol. That's all on me. I'm gonna find you.
She didn't do the secret handshake.
Yep, didn't get her new code.
That's right.
That's it.
All right, Carol, you there yet? There you are. Oh, you went away. There you are. Now you're back.
I thought maybe you just didn't love me anymore.
Oh,
Already saw me twice. That's more than enough in one day.
All good.
No, but you know what? None of my Zoom, when I get the emails that show the confirmation, none of those Zoom links will ever work. On this hour of as bookkeeping bootcamp, I am always trying to get in. At halftime, I just give up and walk away. So this time I went to the Facebook, saw the live, tried that link, and that's the only way I got in. Everything that's sent to me that I have saved in my calendar does not work. Again, I think
you know what? This is a new link. Because of issues with the other one, we kept having issues. I will make sure to send you like the new invitation then to do that.
Thank you. I was starting to feel unloved.
No, I love you, Carol. Okay, so we have a question. So actually, first up, Carol, you weren't here you probably were here, but I did not see you were here.
I know, I just got here, like I heard Kathy introduce herself and that was it. So I didn't get the first part of what we were talking about.
Okay, so it's, and I think I asked this earlier on the call that we were just on too. So if it's the same answer, that's okay. But introduce yourself to everybody and what is a song that gets your body dancing when you hear it?
Well, I'm Carol Kostachuk. I have Carol On Call Office Assistants here in Maple Ridge, BC. Not currently sunny anymore. Favorite song, I have to say, right now, the one that's really working for me is that one that you sent me that I can't say the whole song name. But that one, oh yeah. And I have played it a few times because there's situations that have popped up this month that are just.
I will post the clean version link. There are two versions.
I did find it, but it's not as good.
It is Lily Allen, and it is 4 asterisks, whatever, and then the word you. So figure out what that is. It is
Fire Truck.
Best song. Yeah, so I will put the clean version. You guys can then go find the dirty version if you want. I'll put this link later.
It's not the dirty version, it's the original version.
The original version. That is my go-to. I usually throw it because I've got a lot of, my nieces and nephews are on my Facebook. So if you guys see that I posted that, I'm usually pissed at somebody. And the funny thing is I have people calling me, messaging, going, was it me? Was it me? And I'm like, well, if you have to ask, maybe it was. But it's such a happy, upbeat song. And then when you listen to the words and watch the words, it's
the video. It's the video that takes the cake.
Yes.
The guy on the bridge is my favorite part, and I think of many people when that happens. Just ping.
There are times where I've had to watch this video, listen to it or watch it 5, 6, 7 times in a row, but I guarantee you, I always walk away a lot less stressed out. So I will share that link out.
Long list for that.
Oh, I crank it in my car, driving down the road. Oh yeah.
If I hear it really loud, I'll be looking for you. I'll be like, Carol's in town. Oh,
yeah. Sunroof is closed just because.
That's another one that's a clean version. There's only one version to it. It's called Smile. And that's all about her boyfriend, basically dumped her, I guess, cheated on her, whatever. And she ends up, what makes her smile is when he has a bad day. So she puts a little bit of X-Lax in his coffee and then has her friends fill his trash compartment and duct tape his toilet so he can't get to it's a feel-good song. That's all I got to say. Anyway. Okay. So, we have somebody else. We have Stacy joining us. So she'll be in here in a moment. Stacy, hello. Okay, we'll give Stacy a chance to answer. And hello, Jennifer and Carmen and Andrea and Stephanie. Anybody wants to join us live? Come join us. Lisa, I got your question here. We'll get to it in just a moment. So Stacy, how are you?
I'm exhausted. I have gone from meeting to meeting to meeting. I just took 15 minutes, which is why I'm late. I took 15 minutes because my godson had to do his band assignment, which was to perform 2 songs in front of an audience. And so we got the Zoom family together, which was, when I looked at it, I realized was kind of cool because you had people from Halifax and Winnipeg and Delaware and Minneapolis all sort of in this one room, and it was nice. I don't often get to see this side of the family because we're, everywhere from California to Halifax, right? So
Right.
it's nice. He had to perform 2 songs. It had to be recorded, and then the recording gets sent in to the teacher, and that's how he gets his final evaluation under performance.
Oh, very nice. Well, you know what? Then that was absolutely something that you could have done and be late for us for.
Yeah. I figured y'all would understand.
I agree. I totally agree. Okay, so what we're saying is to introduce yourself and let us know what song, when you hear your body just starts to dance to.
Oh.
I know you're being put on the spot here.
I listen to CBC Radio 1 Talk Radio all day. Music is anything that has a beat. Like this little performance, first time saxophone performance. He started playing When the Saints Go Marching In, because what do you do when you have saxophone? And I find myself already sort of dancing around a little bit. But so Last Saskatchewan Pirate.
Okay.
Arrogant Worms.
Arrogant Worms.
Last Saskatchewan Pirate. That will get me going every single time.
I've not even heard of that.
Oh, we're going to have to educate you. I will, I'm sure I'll find it and put a link in the chat box.
That's okay. I'm just putting one to, what Carol's favorite song is the Lily Allen. I'm putting the clean version. It's Blank You, but it's my go-to song. So as well too. It's there. I just put that. So you can go ahead. Yeah. Put yours in the song too. If anybody else wants to put their favorite songs in there out there, absolutely. Then we're going to have a playlist that we'll be able to listen to later today. Right. And hello, Galeeds, come join us. Okay. So Lisa had a question for us. So, a question for later on. So hopefully this is later on enough for her. So with QBO, it will allow a Canadian company with a Canadian home currency, will it allow a Canadian company with Canadian home currency who has a U.S. account to pay bills from the U.S. account to a European supplier without going through a clearing account? QBD won't, and she's not well versed in QBO multicurrency. That's a good question. Anybody else or anybody out there have the answer to that? Because I don't deal with a lot of multi-currency by choice.
So in theory, wouldn't it be the same as if you had a Canadian bank account and you paid something in US dollars out of it? You would just do an adjustment for the currency difference?
Potentially, I guess. So how I do things, if I'm using my Canadian account, I say something US, pay something US, for example, I push it through to Receipt Bank. I let the receipt sit there until I see the charge go through on my credit card or through my bank account, whichever it may be. Then I enter the conversion, like the converted amount to match what my bank fee is and push it through.
Right. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Best practice.
Yeah, exactly. So
I usually put in the notes or in the description what the US dollar amount is, like say it's $20 US, and then the Canadian might be $24 or whatever.
What the conversion rate was on that day. But that's not what she's asking. She's asking if she could pay out of a US dollar account, but now in euros, correct?
Well, as long as I would think again, as long as the bank account or the credit card, whichever it may be, would let you do it,
Mhm.
you should still be able. I know with the multi-currency in the States, like I would say treat it like it's a US currency, but there still are some issues with the US currency in QBO, isn't there? That you still have to, there's something special you have to do, and I have no idea what it is, so I'm not the right person to ask on that. Anybody here?
So I did Susan Watkins training this week, and it went over multi-currency.
Get it? Okay.
So, and that's essentially where I pulled my answer from, right? Was the fact that if you have a US, so you're set up for multi-currency, you have a US bank account in US funds, and you pay in US funds, transactions go in and out seamlessly with no exchange gain or loss, right? You only do your revaluation at whatever your period end is.
Mhm.
And so her other example was the fact that if you have a Canadian account, right, and you pay in US dollars, it's exactly how we've described. The transaction goes through, you code whatever the exchange is, you know what, your $100 becomes, you know, $152, right, that you put through as your transaction.
Okay, so she's just,
But
sorry.
yeah, your question about the US exchange is it depends on what your source is, because the exchange rate that your bank is going to use isn't necessarily going to be the same as the exchange rate that QBO is using, which comes from their Wall Street service.
Mhm.
So she's clarified her
And that's where
question.
you can have a discrepancy.
So she's clarified the question, and that's where I misunderstood. It's a European supplier, so it's multi-currency. And this actually is, this makes sense to me now that if the supplier's currency is euro dollars, can you pay them from the US dollar account? No, you can't do a direct. So what we do in Receipt Bank to get around that, so this might be a workaround for you, Lisa, is we would set them up as basically, you know, a US supplier or a Canadian supplier and just kind of put a little bracket, you know, after that. So they're really kind of in there twice. That might be a workaround. Jen Baldick did give a confirmed answer. So thank you for joining us today, Jen. So she says multi-currency QBO, you may not go directly between a US to euro. The home currency must be used in every transaction. So in this case, they must enter 2 transactions.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I would say the workaround that seems to work fine with us for our multi-currency has to do, again, that we set them up as a home currency supplier and just, you know, so they're really set up there as 2 different suppliers, but now you've got 2 different suppliers that you have to pull for to look at the full picture. So again, I don't know if that's the route that you would want to take. But so
If you've already turned on multi-currency in QBO, or even QB desktop, like once you turn it's a binary. Once you turn on multi-currency, you can, why not enter the invoice as European, as the euro?
we have Jennifer Baldick joining us right here, so she'll hopefully be able to shed some light on that.
Excellent.
Jennifer.
You're muted. We'd love to hear your beautiful voice. I started my day with seeing that beautiful face.
Well, and I wanted to end my day with you, so I popped finally on Facebook, and because I never get to come and join you, so I'm so excited that I'm here today and I can actually answer some questions. So
that's awesome.
yay.
Thank you.
So was it Jennifer, you were just clarifying about you wanted to set up the supplier in euro, or I got disconnected when I got connected. I missed the second question. Sorry, Stacy.
Yeah, Stacy.
Oh, so my question is if multi-currency is already turned on, because you deal with US and Canadian currency, and you receive the invoice in euro dollars, can you not record that in euro dollars? And then, of course, when you pay it, you'll have to record the exchange rate, but you're not having to return on multi-currency because you now have yet another currency.
Right.
You have to make sure the customer is set as euro.
Yes.
The advice on that is if you don't have a euro bank account, do not add euro to your QBO file, because multi-currency is one of those things. Once you turn it on, you cannot turn it off. You can delete currency. If
Right.
you turn it on by mistake, say you add euro, but you shouldn't have. And in that case, kind of the workaround that Tanya had mentioned with set the supplier up as US dollars, because that's ultimately how you're going to pay them.
Mhm.
Then using Receipt Bank, you can post them from US dollars into US dollars. You'll have to make the adjustment once you know what the US dollar equivalent is when you go to pay it.
Right.
So it's complicated and it's a workaround, but it's unfortunately unavoidable with the structure of QBO in that it does have to deal with a home currency.
And that might not be the workaround that they want to do, because again, that still comes with other issues, because now you might potentially have them, maybe they were set up as a European supplier. Maybe you've got them, you're paying one of them from a Canadian account, one from a US account. So maybe you have that same supplier set up in multiple places. So again, that might create other issues too. I guess, yeah, you have to look at the best situation.
If it were me, I would probably do the workaround of actually adding the euro and posting the bill in euros, so that I've got a sense of what the Canadian equivalent is, so that when I do go to pay it, I know that I need to make an exchange rate. And if I'm looking at my ARAP, I can see that it's euro, right? I don't know if all of you use this, but in the display name in the profile, whether it's customer or vendor, I always put the currency in the display name so that I visually can see on a ARAP or unpaid bills report right away what currency it is, because I'm not always looking at that currency column.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that, I mean, that makes sense. And I shy away. There's enough of, you out there, okay, maybe not enough. There's a small group of people who know it inside and out. I would much rather refer to you guys and you don't have to deal with it. So Lisa Mueller's added, and she had the original question. So yes, you can set the supplier up in euro, but you can't pay the euro from USD, which we've already confirmed. He has several euro suppliers, so tracking would be a nightmare. He truly is a global with the business.
Well,
so I guess
I've got customers that have euros, but they also have a euro bank account. So they've got 4 accounts. They've got Canada, they've got the US, they've got British pound sterling, and they've got euro. So they've actually got 4 bank accounts. So we manage that. And the money gets paid to the supplier in the currency that it was incurred in. And then it's super easy when we're just converting from any one of those external currencies into Canadian dollars, because that's a simple transfer.
Right. And yeah, so Lisa just said right now she's currently doing the pass through a clearing account using that method, but it hurts her head.
And Lisa, it hurts my head too when I had to do it with another client file.
So in other words, multi-currency, this is why I don't handle it.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I'm glad you were able to join, and thank you, Lisa, for asking that question, because I'm sure there's probably a lot of other people out there that would like to know what workaround. So that's your suggested workaround then, Jen, is just to have the multi-currency set up, just to make it easier.
I mean, traditionally, like if it's a bill, I think that was the question, right? That it was a supplier.
Yes.
And so it's a regular supplier that's going to be billing you in euros. And it's not so different than if that was a US company that you didn't have multi-currency turned on for. You would have to go to your Canadian bank and pay them in Canadian dollars, and the bank would do the conversion for you.
Right.
Right. So at its simplest, you would leave it in Canadian and then make the conversion and post it when you pay it or update it.
Yep.
But again, you're going to have to look on a case by case and use your professional judgment for complexity, complication, and frequency of these volumes, because you also need to express that to the business owner so that they can understand that this isn't easy and that maybe there's a better way. Maybe they do need to go open up a euro account and just be done with it. Right?
Well, and maybe when you start value pricing, so we have another pricing expert on the call here too, Jennifer, that make sure you're pricing appropriately for this. And, let them know with the extra work. If they want this extra work involved, they want to make it easier, well, then they're going to pay for that. So charge appropriately for that for sure. So great. I'm very glad you can make it, that you made it on, because I don't know if any of us would have had a straight direct answer for her otherwise.
Well, I love that, Stacy, you were in Susan's advanced certification training this week, right?
That was Kathy.
Sorry, Kathy was in there, because that's a great session. I actually teach that one as well. And
Now,
so,
was that what it is? Was it the advanced cert, or
Yeah.
was it just one of the business builders?
no, it's advanced cert, chapter 3.
Yeah, so
Advanced cert.
I've done it twice, just because it's a learning process, right? I'm so new to QBO, and it's so different from the way Sage does things. So what I found was this time when Susan taught it, she added a lot of from the accountant's perspective and the theory behind it. So things really, really sunk in a lot better than the first time. And, you know, part of it is also experience with working with the product. But yeah, I mean, I was talking to another colleague who's like, yeah, I should go back and just do that because there's always new tips, new techniques, new things that are coming out, changes in the software that you may have been certified 6, 8, 10, 12 months ago or years ago, and it's changed. And if you don't use it all the time, like multicurrency, things do change, right?
Well, and the
So-
last time I used the Sage product, you couldn't go from euro to US dollar in that platform either. So that it's been a couple of years since I used Sage, but the last time I was in there, you could not go external to your home currency and make transactions.
Which makes perfect sense. No matter what accounting software it is, makes perfect sense because our home currency is Canadian, or if we were in the US, the home currency would be the US. So it
Well, it
makes
does,
sense. We're trying to make our life easy, but
no, but it doesn't, because if I've got a euro account, Chinese yen, well, you know, Chinese yen, they've got a whole different way to move money. But if you've got a euro, a USD, and a Canadian account, and you go to your bank and transfer money from your euro to your US, my logic says I should be able to record that transaction in one step in my accounting software.
but does the bank record it in one step, or does the bank have to? Like, there have been times where we have been told by the banks, we want to send a wire transfer from our US dollar account held in Canada to a US vendor. And they're like, oh yeah, no problem. We have to convert this to Canadian and then send the wire transfer. Yeah. And
Okay.
we've been told that by a couple of banks. And then we went to go and do it and they didn't have to do it that way. So I don't even think the banks know what they're doing.
I think you need a new bank.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Not throwing any dirt, just, or a new bank teller, right? Because sometimes it can be that the teller's not educated enough, or they've misunderstood information is probably a better way of putting it.
well,
So-
and I have been to banks where I walk in and I know the system better than they do. And I've walked in and I'm like, I have to do this. I have a community account. I can look at things online, but because we require 2 signatures, I can't actually initiate transfers out. So I want to do a wire transfer. I've brought the other signature with me. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but we've all made a trip down to the bank to have a picnic. And then the one person in the branch who knows how to make a wire, because they only have taught one person, has to be there that particular day. And then he spends 20 minutes talking to me going, well, why don't you just go online and do an international wire transfer? It won't cost you $45. And I literally got so mad that I pulled out my computer, logged in, and I said, here, do it for me. Yeah, I have logged you into my bank. And then he goes, oh, I can't do it. And I'm going, that's what I've been telling you for the last 20 minutes. Like, I could go on.
I have a simple answer: Veeam.
Okay, I was going to say Veeam, Pluto, Telpay, WayPay.
TransferWise is one that I've been looking at in the last week, been doing a lot of investigating there. You know, when you only have to do it once, that's the thing. If we were doing this on a regular basis, we would have the answer, but it's like, oh, I need to get that money there. I have to do it by the end of the week. What are my options? And yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we had somebody that I knew that was down there in the States had to transfer money to their US account to be able to pay something down there. And they couldn't get, because they were already in the States, they couldn't do the transfer from their Canadian bank account over, because again, they could not do it online. Lisa just popped in and said she suggests Firma for you, Stacey.
Okay.
But anyway, what they did is they used Veeam because they could do it all online. And I know Veeam, so that I get this email. They're like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? And it worked seamlessly. They were able to just do it with a quick email. So they emailed it to, you know, set up both bank accounts, 2 email addresses, emailed from one to the other. Boom, it was done. So, But yeah, there's a lot of options these days. Veeam just happens to be the one I know. I've never used Firma. I've never used TransferWise. I've used Pluto. I like Veeam because, and I've used WayPay, but they have the fees, whereas Veeam is blockchain. So my suggestion would be, if you're looking at keeping fees down, use something that uses blockchain versus an actual transfer, because it'll keep your costs down. So that's my thought process on that. Whatever that's worth. I actually had to use Veeam myself this week because I ordered, I don't know if any of you guys saw, and I was almost going to reach out for you, Kathy, but I didn't want to wait for you to open and respond. She's like, what? No Excel spreadsheets. But so Diane Mueller had this web around that goes on the back of her shirt. It's of her chair. Kathy got one in too. And I couldn't remember where Kathy got hers from Canadian. And I went to order it. I thought, this is great. It slides on the back of my chair because I can make the green screen right here when it's just me. But when we've got people in here, if they walk back and forth, you see floating heads and whatever, and it looks really funny and distracting. So I thought, okay, I'll just grab this, stick it on the chair, but they're not shipping to Canada anymore. So thank goodness we have US boot campers. So I reached out to Lily in Boston. She's just, not far over the border. I'm like, can I do this and just have it shipped to you and you ship it to here? So she's like, no problem. Then don't we go in and it doesn't like my credit card information because it's not the same as the shipping address. So she's like, no problem. She just takes a picture, sends me her credit card through Facebook. I'm like, oh, you're trusting Facebook, are you? So I threw it in and then shipped her the money by Veeam real quick. But so that's on its way somewhere, sometime.
Somewhere, sometime. You might get it. You might not. Might be 8 weeks. Might be 8 minutes.
Well, that's kind of my thought. If I can get it as far north as possible. So she's Massachusetts. So I thought if we can get. So it should be there today, actually. So that I thought it'll be a shorter jaunt from, Massachusetts over.
So we're only about an hour from the border, and my family lives just on the other side of the border. It was nothing when I was a kid to hop in the car, drive down to my aunt's house, have dinner, turn around, and come back. Like, we're so close, as most of you in Southern Ontario, and Kathy maybe a little bit farther in Edmonton, but we're pretty close. Just drive down, have somebody throw the package over the border. Oh, no, Chris. I kid, of course, for those of you who are recording this.
Well, it's live on Facebook, so it's going to be there forever for everybody.
Okay.
Well, funny story. A few weeks ago, Jerry and I went for a motorcycle ride down Zero Avenue. So we went all the way down through White Rock, and then Zero Avenue is the one that's right. If you're on one side, you're in Canada. If you're on the other side, you're in the US.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you look at it and you kind of go, it's just a road, right? It'd be so easy. Oh no, there was security checkpoint cars all along there. And even at one point where we stopped just to pull over and take pictures of Mount Baker and stuff, we thought, wonder if they're going to come and look and see what we're doing, right? But yeah, no, it looks easy, but no.
Really.
But you can see now where people that couldn't get across the border, they come and that's where they'd meet, sitting on one side of the road and one on the other, so they can visit, but they can't actually cross to talk because the border's closed.
Yep.
So
yeah, never thought about that. That makes sense. So we've got, and I don't know, I'm going to put her on the spot a little bit here. So there is something new that I know about that Jennifer Baldick is working on. Do you want to talk about it? Can you talk about it? Do you want to give any hints, tidbits? Or do you want to just make everybody stay in suspense? Oh, you're muted again. You're muted.
I always try to mute because I never know what's going to go on behind me for sound, right?
True. The cats could go at it, right?
What did I tell you about that I might want to preview?
Jet fuel.
Oh, jet fuel.
I don't know if it's ready. I might be jumping.
No,
well, you're here. We'll give you a chance to talk about it.
It's out there in the universe. For those of you, my name is Jennifer Baldick. I have a practice called Jetstream, and I go by the title of Cash Coach. I know, Carol, you know me. It's nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. And so I've launched a new Facebook group that's talking about cash flow, control, pricing, and all of those difficult conversations that you have to have with your customers. Right now, it is business specific. I do want to point out that it is not limited to accounting professionals. And so I want to make sure that that's very clear, because I know in our accounting professional groups, we sometimes talk about our customers. And so we want to be sure that we're all in there with our business owner mindset on. And so those are the problems that we're going to try to solve. And those are the conversations that we're going to have. So literally, if you go to your Facebook, type in jet fuel, there it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And she is one of the, what is it, the APIAs, the accounting professionals I admire and friend. So yes, I highly respect everything she has to say, and it's very well worth listening to. So
We're both disciples of Ron Baker, right?
exactly. Ron's just awesome. So
Thank you for that, Tanya. That was really.
you're welcome. Oh, you're very welcome.
Now.
You know what? We need to be, you know what, let's roll this into another part of the conversation here, because obviously we're not talking too much about COVID today, which is good. But one question that I've been approached, and I would love to hear, because you and I haven't actually really talked, I think maybe we talked a little bit about it, but is I had an accountant who reached out to me and who said, well, I bet you're, wishing you didn't start value pricing. So I'm not a true value price. If you want to look at the true sense of the word, I value price my services. Right. So I do change it slightly for the client depending on what the client values, but I start with value pricing my perceived value and then work in there. So I don't truly, I don't see that, just because you value my services more, I shouldn't charge double. Maybe I'm going to charge a little bit more. So I'm not sure if I'm a true value pricer or halfway between value and fixed prices, because I do have a little bit of a formula, but but I'm not, I guess I can say that I'm not 100% value. But so he says to me, do you wish that you hadn't changed to any type of fixed or value pricing model? Do you wish you had stayed with an hourly bill model? And this is first week it happened. And I said, no, I'm going to stand by my conviction. I still think that this is the best thing in the end. So I would love to hear everybody else's feedback on it, of maybe those that are still hourly billing or whatever. I think everybody knows my opinion on it. So let's start with you as a value pricer.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that, Jennifer?
Well, for me, the people that I work with have a value price package. So it includes X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and Q, R, and T, right? And that's what their value pricing package includes. And so when COVID came up, I had a conversation with each of them saying, look, this is a thing, and it's affecting everybody that I work with, including my own business. And so in this particular case, because of the size and structure of the companies that I work with, I had conversations with them about it, that no, there won't be any extra charge. We talked about it being out of scope, but I said there won't be any extra charge because so much of it I'm going to be just learning for everybody. And although I might have to be investing 20, 30, 60 hours, it's not something that I can break out and say, okay, well, you get 8.5 hours and you get 4.24. But we've had very open conversations about this is over and above. And with the notation that now, for any of those that were a little bit hesitant, like anybody that has not gone with like a middle to a high package, we're not even having that conversation because I'm not helping them with COVID. Right. But anybody that has hit mid package or higher, it's included because that's what I'm here for. I'm a cash coach. That is my job. That is the way I price. And so I'm quite comfortable with what's going on because I have evolved to a place where I work 5 days a week. I manage my time, I manage my schedule. So the fact that COVID has come into play, yes, it's a bit more work, but I've got capacity. So and capacity is really the key of that.
Right. Now, did you have anybody reach out to you and ask you to price because they're not submitting more receipts or anything like that, even initially, or even after you've had the conversation about the extra, the out of scope work?
So I do, that has happened because like all of us, I'm sure we all have at least one customer that was devastated, that got shut down and their income went to zero, right? And so in the situation where the customer was shut down and income went to zero, we had a conversation because again, there's a lot of different components to what I do. I'm not transactional based. Most of us aren't. Even if you think you're transactional based, you're not. You're giving advice, you're helping, you're guiding, you're listening, right? So it's all part of that. So we had a very open dialogue and said, okay, well, what are we going to do? Because I'm not going to abandon you. And my customer said, well, I'm not going to not pay you. And so we went through the conversation about what we're going to do. And I mean, there's different things that you can do, and you have to make the decision that's right for you, your practice, and your customer, right? Maybe you say during COVID, because your volumes have gone down, we're going to adjust your price. Never use the word discount. But for right now, because your business is closed, I'm still here for you. So there's still a price because you're still getting value from me, but it might be a different price. Right?
Yeah.
And again, put it in your own heart, put it in your own head, and put yourself in your customer's shoes and decide, you want that person long term, then figure it out with them. Because if your husband, your loved one, your cousin ended up without money, you'd figure it out and help them. So why wouldn't you do that with your customer?
No, and I agree. I had 3 call to ask. It's a little different than you. I chose to give anybody who has a support plan, which is, minimum 150 a month is what I used to charge it now too, but that gives them 1 hour of consulting a month. I chose to let anybody from that level up, which is our lowest package, to still take advantage of this, of the COVID consulting and the assistance. And what's happened from that is, so I did get 3 people that called. One of them said, I said, no, it's all going to be included, because she says, okay, well, is there extra for that? I said, right now, no, it's all included. She says, great, keep me as you are. The other 2 actually upsold their policy, or upsold their policies, their packages, 1 to $485 a month and 1 to $630 a month, just simply because of the support that we were giving, as well as some cleanup jobs, right, from that. I did talk to 2 people. I actually deferred their payments. I took them off of the sales receipt, put them to an invoice, and just said, you know what, we'll wait till you have cash flow. And then we focus on getting them the cash flow. The minute that they had their CEBA loans in the bank, I was paid back. Then they were put back on pad, and they were fine, because we knew we were working with them to be able to get their income in. So I found the same with you. And it's creating the client loyalty. My standpoint was, if I can keep my clients surviving, I'm in the same boat. I survive, and we don't have to do any changes to our business. So I'd love that to hear. If there's anybody else out there, go ahead and type it into Facebook, join us, or anybody else on the call. I'd love to hear the opposite for a second. Is there anybody who is still doing the hourly billing that you have found that, you are being affected by that? Or is everybody here already doing some form of fixed or value pricing? I know some of you are in different stages.
Well, and that's, everybody approaches it differently. So,
Yeah.
Right, it depends where you're starting from, which is how you're going to respond to COVID.
Exactly.
Some of my clients I'm still doing hourly, and I've said to them I'm not charging for the research portion. And then depending on how they want to do, if they're just say as the wage subsidy program, if they're wanting just the information and they go do the application, I'm charging 1 fee. And then if they want me to do everything all together, I'm charging a different fee.
And that
So,
makes sense.
Yeah.
I have one that I just started with in January, and then of course, boom, and they're a service business. So it was sort of, okay. So I said, okay, well, all I'm doing is I'm starting your QuickBooks Online, getting it all set up. And then they said, well, we're not sure about the bookkeeping, but they had 3 months of books to get caught up. And even when I gave my package prices, he came back and he said, is there any chance you can sharpen your pencil a little? We've talked to a few other people and it seems a little expensive, but we can't tell because there's not an hourly rate. I said, I don't work by the hour.
Good for you.
It's based on the value of what I'm providing for the services.
Bootcamper.
And I know, I said, I can only tell you, you can see from the little list that I use based on the stuff I got from our Quicksham, how it's priced per package. So I can show you the value of what you'll see as we go forward, but I can't indicate that in an hourly rate.
It doesn't
So he was fine with that. And now I'm doing the cleanup or not cleanup, it's catch up. But there's a few things that I've come across that I'm going, okay, well, this is what they were doing, but this is what it should be. Oh, so he's learning a lot, and we've had some very interesting conversations. And every single time he said, well, that's why I came to you as the expert, to get your expertise. I want to do everything right. I want to do it the way it's supposed to be done. And one of them was on, people working for commission. And if they're not making enough commission, that they're topped up to at least minimum wage. He goes, wow, yeah, I always wondered about that. And they've had the last franchisor or franchisee that they bought the business from has now got a person who's gone to employment standards and said, whoa, wait a minute.
Oh, wow. They weren't doing
I said, yeah, this is what the rule is. As long as they're making at least minimum wage, you have to have a way of tracking the hours. He goes, oh, we just rely on them to tell us. I said, you don't want to do that, because if something happens, the onus is on you as the employer to prove you paid it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, thank you. That's why I got you. So I think it's going to turn into a bookkeeping job as well. The rates are going to change though, because now that I've gone through it, there was, you ask those questions and they answer them, but then when you get into it, like payroll with ADP.
Ick.
I don't know who does payroll with ADP, but I'm telling you, their
Isn't
stuff
that
is so messed up. I'm gonna have to talk to you, Tanya.
Yeah,
It is.
I put that journal entry right there. It's I don't. I'm like, you guys manage it yourself. You want to use ADP, go ahead, but you manage it yourself.
No, but they're doing things wrong.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Standard.
I'm
Mhm.
not surprised.
Well, what was that, Deb?
That's standard. I wouldn't use ADP. I do it manually before
Okay.
I would ever
No, and
use
I've never
ADP.
I've never done bookkeeping for a company that's used a third party, because I'm been the bookkeeper and I'm doing it myself to make sure it's right.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, this one here, they're doing these commission based, and they got one type of commission and then a bonus commission, but they're calculating them separately.
Mhm.
So the rates might be so low that there's no income tax taken off, but it's paid as one lump sum.
Mhm.
So say 600 and 500. So no income tax, but they pay 11 or, based on 1100. So at the end of the year, they're going to be hooped. They're going to be in trouble that they have not taken enough income tax off these employees.
Well, and for that's probably going to affect the CPP a little bit too. So they're probably going to end up with a peer report as well too, right?
I don't know about that, because that's percentage based. But
True.
anyways, the whole thing is there's issues. Good thing it's only January, February, March that I've done. It can be fixed.
Mhm.
So yeah. So who else? Is there anybody else here that again has is how you're pricing? If you found that again, just it'd be interesting to see again the value pricing versus the hourly pricing, if there's actually been a difference. Like somebody else, Stacey wants to talk. Deb,
Well,
value price, Deb, or fixed price?
Well, for mine, it's all based on the client. The client comes to me. I go through the entire thing with them. If they're running QuickBooks or whatever software they're running, if it's just an e-commerce store and they're saying, I'm selling on Shopify, Amazon, eBay, what do I need to do? I sit down and ask them. Well, I look at the numbers if they've got some to look at. And I just ask them, what is your budget? What is it that you want from this? What assistance do you need? And how much do you think it's worth to you? And right off the bat, if they come out and say, I want the dirt cheapest person on the planet, I say, I'm just not the person for you. But I can give you some names. If you really want to do your due diligence and work with these parties, they'll give you the basics. They'll give you a marginal number. And I wouldn't file my taxes based on that, but it'll give you a concept of what you're doing. If you want it done right and have audited financials at the end, then I would stand with an auditor, be it the state, sales tax, whatever, then this is what it's going to cost you. And you're going to have correct numbers. So it's like with me, like I said, it's always the client. What do you want? The client comes to me, what do you want? Tell me what you want to do. And then I just right off the bat say, I'm just not the party for you. That would not work for me. And personally, for my reputation, I would not work with somebody that just wanted to pay $5 an hour and feel justified charging someone that and giving them crap. That just, that would not work for me. So everything is based on what the client wants, what they need. And most of them, unfortunately, really don't know what they need until they're in a sales tax audit. And then it's like, oh yeah, I've got an issue here. I need help. So that's a little bit different. You're muted, Tanya.
Your turn.
I was coughing. Yeah, because I was coughing. That's why.
I know she's talking to me.
So, Stacy, how is it that you price then?
Well, we're in that, we have been in that transition over the last year to go from that hourly price to more of the value based. So we're on about a 50-50, I suppose. And we had some people that we were just in the process of going, okay, we've now finished your year. Now we're into a new year. We're going to, here's the quote that we're going to do. We're going to do it on a value base. So I can compare it to what you paid last year. Like, we're really not. And then COVID hit and it was like, you need a little bit more than what we thought. So anyway, for my value priced customers, nothing has changed. They're getting the same value from me. I need to, for my reputation, stand behind those numbers that I'm putting behind. If I'm sitting here going, you should be applying for SEBA and SUS and all that, I'm going to stand behind those numbers and whatnot. And every single one of my value price customers have come back going, you are so valuable, you are worth, like, they're not even flinching, which means when we come to the renewal of contract, perhaps we can up it a little bit more and they won't argue me. Right. Our hourly people, they know that they're going to end up getting charged a little bit more because it is, what we're doing is not so much for the research, but it's taking us a couple of hours to do these SUS calculations, and sorry, you didn't want to transition, you're going to get charged for all of those hours. Like, that's
it's more work. It is more work.
A lot of work.
So, okay, so you haven't seen any revenue decrease because of that, so with all of this? Not.
Well, I have seen some revenue decrease due to a couple of things. I do have a couple of people that were just absolutely positively shut down. There is nothing that's going on. They were a program that went into a school. And so the school shut down. They're just shut down. They're not even buying stuff. There's just nothing to do. I have a soccer league on my client list. Right? Although, anyway, I haven't seen revenue drop from them. But the other thing that I've also seen, especially compared to last year, is, my tax season, like, I think overall, by the time we get to the end of June, I'm going to find that my numbers did remain the same as last year. But because you being the government delayed that, I can't seem to get into people's heads that delaying filing doesn't mean you get to delay that, or, well, it does, but it has nothing to do with the payment. If I hit the button on May 31st, it's the same as if I'd hit that button on April 30th. You still
April
have to
has
pay.
62 days.
Right, right. So I have seen a decrease in my income, and partly because we had there's a couple people that, thank God, they came off of our client list in February, and I'm sort of sitting back going, haha.
Right. No, and I'd be like, we've seen again 20 grand drop due to the taxes, which is great. I think it's still going to filter in.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like kind of again comparing because even some of those people that I've had conversations with, not my clients, but some of those other bookkeepers, that I've said to them, well, if somebody says to you, well, I'm not submitting receipts, well, great, I'm helping you understand all this government aid. So I'm actually doing more work at a higher value work. So it's still going to balance out. So that's kind of where I'm interested to see, just kind of out of all the group here, of that part of the revenue. And I fired people too. So again, right, revenue like up and down because of this. And I think it's interesting. You find that some people don't necessarily respond very well under pressure. So I fired somebody because they don't respond well under pressure. I'm like, I don't like this person. They were already teetering on the top of the list. I'm like, that's it.
And then she played her song.
I gotta go.
You wrote, okay.
I have a 4:30. Thanks for letting me join today. Have a
Bye,
good
Jennifer.
day, everybody.
Miss you.
Nice to meet you.
Virtual hugs to everybody. Bye.
So that we'll go over here because I'd love to hear like Jennifer and Kathy. I'd like to give you guys a chance to respond to this too before we go. So who would like to respond first?
I will. So I'm with Stacy on the whole personal tax thing. Before COVID, I was up 33%, and now my numbers are down. Over last year, my numbers are down like 17%, which is like weird. But I think it's the same thing. When I go through who hasn't come back yet, it's like, oh, right, they have a home-based business, they have day home, they're the ones that are waiting. And yeah, if you're gonna owe $2,000, you're still gonna owe $2,000, depending. You just have longer to yeah, exactly like you were saying. So the personal taxes, I'm also getting a lot of new ones too. And I don't know, Stacey, how you're handling your people. Most of them are emailing their stuff in and dropping stuff off, opposed to face-to-face meeting because of COVID. And my personal tax, I used to go to the people, so of course we've stopped doing that a long time ago. Again, same. I have a couple of clients that are just not doing anything, so I've taken them off billing. I had one that was a gymnastics association. She was teetering as it was. This will probably put her under. I have a lot of nail salons and other cosmetics. They're just not doing anything. And oil field is down quite a bit too.
Yeah,
So
with the other ones, are you like, you're not doing anything? You're not helping them to try to get, the financing? You just like, have you?
A lot of mine
stopped it.
A lot of my clients don't have payroll. So, they're not getting the business loan. They're not getting the Qs because they don't have payroll. I have one guy.
Altogether. So you have a different demographic then of your clients.
Yeah. So, like they say, what can we do? I say, well, you can only get the one for individuals because you're not working, right?
And that makes sense. There's not much you can do then, right?
I'm still growing. I wanted to take the boot camp, and I'll probably take it when you fire it up again after tax season, because I don't really know how to price myself, and I think I've underpriced myself significantly, considering I now have employees to pay also. So
the boot camp,
I do.
Well,
yes.
Deb's the only camper on the call other than you then right now. We've got Kathy, Carol, and Stacy. Stacy's new. We just start with Stacy next. We're starting a May group.
Oh, I was going to say, Jennifer, the boot camp will be the best money you've ever spent in your whole entire career.
I am
hands down.
So.
It's changed so much in what, and I've been doing bookkeeping for 30 years. I've been in my business for 22. Me looking at, oh, do I need to learn something? At first I went, no. And then I finally went, maybe. And you know what?
I think
hands down, best money I've ever spent.
And I agree. And if you are starting a new one, Tanya, yeah, if you have room, I'd like to be in on it. But I think my problem, so we've been, this is our 6th tax season. So really about 2015, 5 years or so, 6 years we've been doing this. And I think that my problem with my pricing was, I would say, okay, I'm going to be, X dollars. And when they would go back, I had a problem saying, no, I'm worth that. Me actually saying I'm worth that much money. So my office manager is always like, you should be charging more. And I'm like, I'm not worth it. Yes, you are. So now after 6 years,
that's all I'll tell you. more.
Well,
you're doing yourself a disservice, because in the end, if you didn't charge much and then you looked at all the work you did, you kind of go away going, well, that kind of sucked. When in fact, you know that you're worth that much more. And don't base it on any other company, any other body's personal opinion, because that's what I was doing. And until I went through with my business coach, where she made me literally stand there and go, Okay, what do you charge? Well, I charge 35 bucks an hour. Okay, change it by 5. What do you charge? She upped me all the way up to 100. I was just about choking to get those words out, literally choking. And then she goes, okay, now go back to 75. How much do you charge? And by that point, it rolled off, and it still felt uncomfortable. But once I could get past that thought process that I'm just a bookkeeper, I'm not worth that much. My rates
Yeah,
just,
and I mean that
Pardon?
just comes
You're
from
what?
personal insecurity.
You're just a bookkeeper, pardon?
no, that's what I'm saying. When I got that out of my head that I'm just a bookkeeper, or my other biggest thing was people would say, well, you can't charge that much because you don't work in Vancouver.
I
Well,
still don't
work
think
in the cloud, it doesn't matter.
I still don't think you charge enough. I still think you're too low. And that's you said she's even a month ago, but I'm not in Vancouver. Damn it. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean that just comes from like personal self-esteem, not
Yep.
you know. And
Comment.
then now when a client comes in, and I've been trying to use the spreadsheet that Tanya sent out. I got that from you for value pricing, and now when I do it and I give them the price, people are like, "Oh, okay." I'm thinking, "Oh,
Yeah.
well, if that was okay, maybe you should have been."
You know you've left money on the table. If they
maybe
jump
not
at it,
charging
you know
enough.
you've left money on the table.
Well, that's just it. And I have T2 because I do T2s and T1s, and I have T2 clients coming saying, "Oh, I just spent I pay KMPG or whatever, $2,500, and you're half of that." And it's like, well, yeah, because I don't have initials after my name, and yeah, I don't charge that. Right?
Now, in fairness, one of our clients uses a CPA, although he's like, next year you're doing it to do his T2 return. And we're his bookkeeper, but we didn't do the T2 return. And we found out the bill, and we're like, they charged you how much to do this
Exactly.
T2 return? And I get the closer to downtown you get, the higher that price is. Like I totally get this, but I'm like, this is a small private corporation. We walked in with the books. Now they're asking us questions from like, well, what's this entry from 4 years ago? We told you it needed to be adjusted, but it's closed. The taxes are done. We're giving you this one.
That guy.
And they, when we saw what they paid, we fainted, and we're like, nah, not with what we gave you. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
should it be $1,000? No, but it shouldn't be $5.
Exactly. And somewhere there are 3. And then other side, I had a brand new guy come in.
Right.
He runs a company. Sorry, it just all of a sudden got warm in here. He's been running this company for probably 20 years. He had mailed in his T4s, and he wanted to apply for the loan. So I said, well, no, like, it's going to be forever before these T4s are registered. So I went on and I put them in, and he and his wife and both of his kids have been paying into EI, and he's the sole owner. And I said, you're not EI eligible. You're not supposed to be paying EI. He said, well, I've been asking the accountant that for 8 years now. And he said, oh no, you have to pay EI. And I'm like, no, this is thousands of dollars you're paying in that you shouldn't be. And then I go to do, I'll try. I'm going to try. I don't know how far back I can go and get it back, but I'll try.
Years. I was
3
just
years.
on that site yesterday. You can go back 3 years.
Yeah.
Kathy
So I will. So now I can charge him $5,000 because I'm going to get him 8 back, So yeah, some of those things I should do a percentage on for sure. But yeah,
I gotta go, ladies. I got another meeting at 2.
Well, that's okay.
Bye, Carol.
We're over anyway. So thank you. Bye.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Thanks, you too, Carol.
I'll probably talk to you over the weekend.
I'll be here. Yeah. Just message me. You know where to find me.
Help!
I'm gonna run too, so I'll talk to you guys later. Have a
Okay.
wonderful
Bye.
Okay, bye, Jen.
Stay well.
Oh, I keep using the wrong mouse. My poor assistant's on my big computer and I keep using the mouse. So I'm sure she's probably going crazy, going, why does that keep moving?
Oh, yes.
It's
The
me.
problem, the
Okay.
problem with multiple technology.
Have a good long weekend.
All right,
too.
thank you, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Carol.
See ya.
So show what came to the door.
Oh.
Oh, the wine. Is
Did
it
you
wine?
just get wine ninja'd?
I just got wine delivered from one of our boot campers, Christine Campbell from out west. And I
Oh,
told her,
nice.
don't be silly. But thank you, Christine. I will be calling you tonight.
Aw.
3 bottles of wine, a red, a white, and I don't know what the other one is. Just I guess just because we're doing a little bit extra support, which Stacy's been in. I just sent you a quick message to Jennifer. We do have one room for one more in the May group. If you're interested.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about June.
Do it.
If I have 2 people, I'll run one max of 4. So we've got 3 right now in May. So I sent you the details. I'm around all weekend if you want to talk.
Do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so I'm
Well-
giving lots of extra COVID support through all
Yeah.
of this. And I guess, yes, this is a thank you for all of this. Christine, you're
Well, we were supposed to go, my daughter, the one that was in here, and I were supposed to go out to New Brunswick to be with my other daughter who's going to have a baby in 2 weeks, but they won't let us in. New Brunswick won't let us in. So we were supposed to be getting there today. So now I have some extra time, so now I can get caught up because I won't be there, but it's pretty sad, that too. So
all right.
But-
Yes, so we're over. So we will call it a day so I can go and start to clean everything off, the wine and everything touch, because make sure no COVID germs get here. But
This will give Jennifer time to go and fill out that application form. And
if you want to talk, I'm around.
You
Sorry?
emailed it to me, Tanya?
I'm on Facebook. I sent it through Facebook message.
Oh, you Facebooked it to me? Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm around
Alrighty.
questions.
awesome.
Okay,
So,
sounds
Stacy
good.
will be in it, so you'll know a friendly face
There you
if you
go.
want to pop into that. So anyway, but thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful long weekend for those in Canada, those in the States. Well, you'll be laughing next weekend. Well, we wish we had another long weekend. So hope everybody's enjoyed and hope this conversation about the value pricing and those that are hourly and we're still giving more, still help people out there. Do not discount down your services. Like we're giving so much more value today, for the clients, and we'll pull through together. So all right, thanks everybody. Have a
Okay.
great weekend.
Bye.
Thank you.